quite a good response from it, so I thought I'd carry on with a tutorial on how I'm creating my Yami Yugi cosplay. The issue I'm going to debate today is the wig, when Yami Yugi's hair is the most notorious of all anime hairstyles. And that's a big thing to say in a world where blonde, black and brown are the most uncommon colours to find, and it seems to be absolutely mandatory for at least one bit of your hair to be defying gravity. I'm really not sure what Kazuki Takahashi had in mind when he created Yami Yugi's hair. Well, if you look back to the first series of the manga, it's a lot more realistic. Well, I'd say that loosely, but I think that there is at least one point in the first series of the manga where one character refers to Yugi's hair as being star-shaped. I think one problem with a Yami Yugi cosplay is that people, when they do it, take it a little bit too literally. I'm not naming any names, and obviously I'm not one to talk, but I think, like I said, sometimes people do just take it a little bit too far. What I like about cosplay is when people take a character from fantasy and inject it into reality to the point where you actually believe they are a realistic version of the character. Obviously, attention to detail is a key feature, and that obviously can make the difference from a good cosplay to a really good cosplay, to a really astounding one. I think with Yami Yugi's hair, though, you really need to take a bit of creative intent. It's so unrealistic and reality-defying that I think it's a little bit too difficult to try and create a flat, five-pointed shape. A lot of people do go for that look with a flat back, and I know a lot of people actually create the points of the fringe. This being my first time styling a wig, I wasn't going to attempt that. And personally, I prefer it when it looks more natural and it's more free. I'm not a fan of the solidly stuck together spikes. I prefer to see it look more like a real hairstyle would. So this is mine. It's my absolute first attempt at styling a wig. Obviously, I've worn wigs before, but I've never attempted actually styling one. So keep your criticism to a minimum. And this is my finalised version. As you can see, it doesn't really fit the head that well. It was really cheap off eBay. I'm still not that happy with the fringe because I'm really not sure about how to go about it. But to say it was for my first attempt, I am actually quite happy with it. Well, it's Yami Yugi, so I didn't really know what I was expecting. My wig is obviously two separate pieces. The base was actually a really cheap, well, I say cheap, it wasn't cheap because I had to pay for shipping, but it was a really cheap party wig, and I think sometimes people, especially with cosplay, are a bit too afraid to go for party wigs, but in cases where you've got a style like this, I really would recommend it. Due to the sort of nylon and almost bad quality of the hair, it makes it really springy and gives it this ability to literally stand on end. I'll get a link up to the wig that I actually bought. I think it was called like Punky Rock or something, but when it came, it was just a large mass of bits just sticking everywhere. I chose it because of that, and the fact that it already has the black and the red. Ideally, I think the black should have been starker, but I didn't really want to start going and messing around with the hairspray because I was a bit worried that I'd spray it all black and then it gets to the point where when I hairsprayed it, it was all running off and I didn't really want to ruin the wig. These pieces are blonde hair extensions, also bought off eBay. I think the problem I have with these is that they were actually too good a quality. Getting them to actually stand was incredibly difficult. I would definitely recommend getting a lot cheaper ones just for that nylon-y effect. The base wig, when I first got that, I didn't actually have a mannequin, so I had to use my boyfriend's head, which he wasn't too pleased about as I was getting a bit scissor happy. The front piece of the wig was cut off as it all came down and it created a horrible fringe type look. But other than that, I haven't cut any of the base wig. I had to make a little bit of a alteration to one of the side bits because it wasn't symmetrical. But other than that, that really is just backcombing and hairspray, and it probably could do with a little bit of a spruce up. The blonde extension pieces, were extensions which had clips, and I cut the clips off, and they were then sewn in. I don't know if you can see that. They were sewn into the cap of the wig and trimmed. I think mine are probably trimmed a little bit too short. I had them longer and they were too heavy, so they fell forward constantly. So I cut them, and I probably cut them a little bit too short. So that's the one bit I'm kind of regretting from this adventure. But I pinned them for a while using a normal hair grip and gripped them to the wig and just kind of left them overnight. Just keep putting a bit of hairspray on them, and eventually you'll get them to stick. They're also absolutely coated in hairspray. They're absolutely horrible. The front pieces were again sewn into the cap, but sewn in back on themselves so they fall forward. Again, I had real trouble trying to get a sort of anime fringe type look. I wanted something a little bit more natural to this, and it's a little bit too springy. But to create the bend, they were kept in clips overnight, the same black clips I used for this, and hairsprayed. And then on a really, really low heat, I clamped them with hair extensions. I clamped them with hair straighteners. People probably won't recommend that to you, especially with synthetic hair, as it will just melt and absolutely destroy your straighteners. Like I said, I did them on such a small heat, such a low heat even though I'm talking about. And just to create a bend, as you can see, some of them, it hasn't been exactly that good because it has actually sort of made them a little bit wavy. Then again, it was just backcombing and hairspraying it. I actually only used one kind of hairspray for this, which I'm actually quite proud of. I thought it would have taken about 6, but no, it's only taken 1 so far, but I'll probably spruce it up a little bit more on the day, but I'm just being a little bit cautious with the amount I put on, because like I said, I'm going for more of a natural look than a severely glued together look. So yeah, if you have any questions again, feel free to ask them. I'll put up links for where I bought both the wig base and the extensions, and I'll also put a link up when it's finished to my live journal, which I can't remember what the format for live journal is, whatever the format is. My user is Lady Neocotica, spelled Neocotica. On there you can also find a step-by-step progress of how I did my puzzle. But yeah, like I said, when it's done, I will get a step-by-step progress with progress pictures and everything else of my wig, so you can have a more detailed look, and it shows you a little bit more in detail on how I went about doing it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon with maybe my completed jacket if I ever get around to it. Bye!